I had a discussion with someone a couple years back about the Switch compared to the Wii U. I mentioned how the Switch wasn't that much better than the Wii U in terms of power, as the games look very similar. The person I was talking to said I was wrong and posted the specs of each console to compare. I knew right then this person was misinformed on how these things work. I've seen a few videos of people claiming the Switch 2 will be on par with current gen consoles. They substantiate this by looking at what games will be on the system, as well as some hardware specs, like what type of SD card storage they'll be using. When people talk about emulation of Nintendo games, they'll mention how they run so much better than they did on original hardware, and remark on how a bunch of no-name programmers outdid Nintendo developers. Anyone with even a surface level knowledge of game development would see this as a horrendous take. These programmers don't have to worry about the limitations of hardware. They don't have to deal with memory conservation and bottlenecks of making sure their game can run on the hardware and game storage media it's targeting. They can essentially go balls to the wall with whatever optimizations they desire. Echoes of Wisdom has its struggles in terms of stable frame rate, peaking at 60 frames per second, but running at 30 frames per second in the majority of the game. You have to program a game for the lowest common denominator, and the Switch is a hybrid system which has to run games in handheld mode. You can try to target 60 frames per second, but the game will disintegrate when you play it on the go. When we look at the spec sheet as consumers, we see more power and higher graphical fidelity. When Nintendo looks at the spec sheet, they see efficiency. We have to take into account what the parts under the hood are going to be used for. When it comes to handheld systems, Nintendo has always valued battery life over anything else. Certainly they want their games to look great, but it's all for nothing if you can only enjoy that great visual experience for a very short period of time. Looking at you, Steam Deck. Nintendo will target the components to get the games to run the way they desire, at the efficiency they desire, at the cost they desire. Games will definitely look better and run smoother, but Nintendo will not be trading blows with PS5 Pro or even the base PS5 graphically. The guts of this new system will be used to make the handheld gaming experience as smooth and as energy efficient as possible. Higher frame rates, reduced loading times, better battery life, improved visuals, no industry-leading graphics, but noticeable improvements people will see and appreciate. When it comes to graphics, history is proven. Normal people don't care. No one was looking at the Switch successor to see Nintendo rejoin the graphics arms race. They don't need to, and they've never needed to, as they have dominated the games arms race for decades. It's always been about the games. Microsoft understands this now, which is why their strategy focuses less on where you play and more on if you play. Nintendo also still makes money on the sale of their hardware. Getting back in the graphics arms race would see us paying PS5 Pro prices for a Nintendo console, as they're not going to sell their hardware at a loss. Why price yourself out of the market for something you never needed in order to win? A handheld PS4 with solid frame rates and enhanced visuals is all anyone ever asked for. But what about the games rumored to be coming to the Switch 2? What about them? We have Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch, which is a modern graphics type game. It runs like shit on the Switch, but it's there. We have Minecraft on the Switch. Again, runs like shit, but it's there. Hogwarts Legacy, Witcher 3, Red Dead Redemption, Doom Eternal. We can go down the list of games which have been put on a system that can barely run it. Minecraft sold well over 5 million copies on Switch. Monster Hunter Rise sold 8 million for Switch. It has nothing to do with power. It has everything to do with having a hot gaming platform and there being money to make. Third-party devs doubted Nintendo coming off the failed Wii U with the Switch. They won't be making the same mistake again, as Switch 2 is set to be another hit for Nintendo. Damn right Phil Spencer is going to shoehorn Call of Duty and any other game he can on what will be the hottest gaming platform going into the next generation. Port inferiority be damned. Nintendo is coming off spanking the competition with what is deemed to be vastly inferior hardware, as they've done many times in the past, and they're gonna do it again. Taking a word from the late, great Bo Schembechler, Nintendo is going to own this industry, and they're going to do it making great games. The competition can throw out all the CUDA cores and pixels and ray tracers and AI renderers and modern technology and in the video game industry. But there will be one gaming company which will focus on making great games. No development studio is more important than the games. No console is more important than the games. The games, the games, the games. And who has that better than Nintendo? Nobody.